So we did a little bit night one. We did some more last night, or at least that's what I hope Danny covered, because if he didn't, we're in trouble. And then we're going to put it all together tonight. Penalty enforcement is the toughest thing you're going to ever do when you officiate. You can call basketball, you can call soccer, anything you want. I think calling fouls in basketball is much tougher than calling fouls in football, but actually enforcing it is the toughest part. So hopefully we can build upon this. Please work with me as we go through. Again, it's better when you interact with me. So, what were the field penalties from yesterday? False start's one of them. Realistically, use about 2 or 3 of these. Encroachment. What do you mean by encroachment? What is encroachment?
Stepping into neutral.
So we go into that 1 yard. Anybody goes into that 1 yard. So if anybody jumps into that 1 yard, we either have encroachment or offsides. If the offense jumps in there, that means they had a false start. So that's going to trump that. What are the other ones?
Illegal contact.
Not illegal contact. Illegal snap. What constitutes an illegal snap? Not one fluid motion. They start and stop, so we should have shown a couple.
Leaving on the wrong side of the field.
Leaving on the wrong side of the field, that rarely happens. And what's the D? Delay a game. Whenever you have these are throw the flag and blow the whistle. So to throw and blow. So make sure you blow this one dead. These are all, you kill all these. Then the other part of dead ball penalties is foul after the play is over. So before the play could happen, after the play is over. What penalties would we have dead ball after the play is over? Unsportsmanlike conduct. What would we call illegal contact that's after the play? We'd call it a personal foul. So if you go out of bounds and I'm just frustrated and I shove you, but it's not malicious, after you go out of bounds, that's a dead ball, personal foul, 10 yards. It's illegal contact, but it happens dead ball. Any unsportsmanlike conduct is, even if it's during live ball, so if somebody's running down the field, drops the F-bomb, you throw the unsportsmanlike, they score a touchdown, touchdown stands, we enforce that dead ball penalty. All right, loose ball versus running play. What's a loose ball play? I know it's up here, but give me what in your words. A pass, and what else leading up to the pass? So it's any action leading up to the pass. So if I'm the quarterback and I scramble, I go to run, don't want to run, come back and scramble, and then I throw, that's all loose ball. So if any penalty happens in there, we go back to the previous spot, with one exception, and we'll talk about that. Running play is basically anything that's not a loose ball play, is the way it's defined. A running play is if I take off running with it and I go, or after the catch and then I run with it. That's all part of the run play. The important thing here is loose ball plays, we go back to the previous spot with enforcement. Run plays are usually spot of the foul or end of the run. End of the run would be anything that we're trying to tackle on when the defense commits a penalty. Loose ball play, we always have to go back here. So I just talked about that. Loose ball is previous spot enforcement. End of the run happens during a run play. So now that I talked about those basic spots, I'm going to throw another monkey wrench in here. Who's ever heard of stiff the offense or screw the offense or push the offense back from the furthest spot back? So whenever an offense commits a penalty, think of it this way. I got to this point legally. If I got to this point legally and then I commit a penalty that allows me to get this far, did I earn any of this legally? So you've got to penalize from where I got legally. So it's called the all but one principle, or screw the offense, stiff the offense, whatever you want to call it. We go wherever that penalty happened. So we go back to the furthest point. So on a loose ball, previous spots where the pucks are, running play, yeah. These are the basic spots of enforcement. If the offense fouls to gain an advantage, we stiff the offense, all but one, screw the offense, and penalize from where it hurts them the most. So, We talked about a loose ball play, where I scramble, and I throw it. We said that spot of enforcement was the previous spot, so where the puck was. But if my offensive line commits a penalty back here, 5 yards in the backfield, we're going to go back and penalize from there because it hurts my team the most. So that's why when we throw flags, and we're going to throw flags today, you're actually going to get the opportunity to throw flags today. It's trying to hit the spot. You don't try to hit the person, you try to hit the spot. So if that foul happens on the other side, where do you think I can throw the flag if I'm on the line? Field of play is here. Foul happens on the other side of the field. How far on the field do you think I need to get this flag? You be quiet. Not far, and I have no marker. I have one marker. Thank you. All right. So, rough sketch of the field. A couple lines here. You're the line judge right here. That foul happens right there. How far do you think you need to get that flag to get that penalty? Think you need to get it right here? Right here? Right here? Right here. It doesn't matter where you put it along this line, as long as you get it down that line. Because you got to remember, the spot here is the same as here, same as here, same here on the field. Now, if you throw it here, or here, or here, those are different. You got to think of the yard lines. So as long as you drop it, if that play happens, what I like to do is throw it about 5 yards to 10 yards in the field. You're not going to get it across the field, I can tell you that. You were all probably way too old to see what happened. It was a Cleveland Browns game probably a decade ago where the side judge threw the flag and it hit the Cleveland Browns player in the eye and ended his career. I don't want you to hit people. I've done it. I've laughed about it. I've hit people where I shouldn't have hit them. That's okay. But try to throw it at their feet, and we'll talk about that. So, you want to penalize them where it hurts the most? This could be the end of the run or the spot of the foul. So, stand up, George. Or Greg. I'm sorry, Greg. So he's my offensive line. Turn around, face this way. He's running in front of me. If he stiff arms somebody, I've got the ball. He stiff arms the guy to his right, and you come and pull my flag. So you go forward, stiff arm right there. You throw the flag. She comes and pulls my flags right here. Where do you think we're going to penalize this from?
Where you at?
Why?
Because that's what hurts.
It hurts the most. Though the penalty happened ahead of me, I didn't get there legally. If I didn't get there, don't give me the extra yards. So that's what we're trying to say with the all but one principle. Now, if he's behind me, stand up again. Stand up back behind me. I'm running ahead of him. He decides to throw something down right here, and I get deflagged right here. Where should we enforce this penalty from? Back there, because that was where the illegal action happened. Thank you. So that's what we call stiff the offense. If you can grasp that, it makes this a lot easier. Here's a nice little flow chart. I hate the flow chart, but here's the chart. So, because I never understood until about 4 years ago, and I've been doing this a long time. So, just go back as far as you can with the offense, whatever hurts them the most. Don't ever give them more yardage than you can. Again, this will be online, because we talk about basic spots of enforcement. And when we go through enforcements, we're going to ask 4 questions: who, what, where, and when. So we're going to ask, when did the penalty occur? And you're going to say loose ball or running play, because that's going to trigger where you're going to go from the spot of enforcement. Was the foul by the offense? If it's by team A and that spot's further back, go from there. If it's not, go from the spot of the foul. Or loose ball, go from the previous spot. So please take a look at that. We're going to go through a lot of examples today. So here's the all but one principle. As my technology is failing me today. Yeah, I hope that doesn't. Oh, don't tell me I have to download this. Save a copy. Really? do I have for this? Dedicated. Huh?
8:30. Oh, wait. Well, yeah, actually.
I should probably,
Mechanics and stuff.
yeah, what time does it have? 7:40. I can give myself an hour and 15 minutes for this. I believe you. We're going to go over a couple more concepts, and one of the concepts is called clean hands. I want the videos to play, so I'm going to give it a second to load up here. Clean hands is basically, if you're the defense, you've got to intercept the ball before you've committed any fouls. So if John's on my team and he commits a foul before I intercept it, I don't get to keep the ball because I committed a penalty. And it's in every level of football. So if you ever hear prior to the pass, holding on the defense, what? Oh, go to slide 9. I know, I'm a little, go to slide 9 and go to that. Pull it up, slideshow, yeah, that one. So if you ever hear that, that's what they mean, is that they committed a penalty before the play happened, or before the interception happened. If I commit a penalty after I intercept it, we officiate it and we enforce it just like if I were on offense. All right, so the all but one principle. This one's going to show it to you. So we snap it, it's a good snap. We have a penalty in the backfield. He should roll with the quarterback. He doesn't. It's all right. So you can see right here, he's got a penalty. I believe it's illegal contact on the defense. So, if you watch this, was this a loose ball or running play? Was there a throw? So, can it be a loose ball? All right, so watch it again. This is actually contact by the defense. He throws contact by the defense. He gets sacked. Did he ever throw the ball? So where do we enforce this penalty? End of the run, right? This sucks, but guess what? He throws the ball away, they get a few more yards. He runs backwards, they lose that yard. They lose that yardage. So Sean does a good job here of going back to wherever he chopped the person in. So, you ask yourself, who was a foul on? This is on the defense. Was it a run play or was it a loose ball play? It was a run play. So the spot of enforcement is the end of the run. So the end of the run is right there. And he chops in the line judge here to go get his pucks. And hopefully he talked about position. Can you bring the little thingy up and push play? There you go. Push play. Just click on it. All right. So we got two flags on this play. Bring up the little cursor again. Go back to the beginning on this little slide bar. Yeah, go back to the beginning. There you go. All right, so watch this. Can you pause it right here? No. You gotta have the little cursor up to do it, and you gotta pause it right there. There you go. All right, so you gotta keep that cursor up. Go ahead and play. You gotta bring the cursor up. Told you gotta bring the cursor up. Keep the cursor up. Keep moving it. All right, hit pause. All right, so I have a flag right here on the offense. What kind of play is this? Loose ball or running play? Loose ball, why? There's a forward pass. So remember, any laterals is part of a run. So any backwards pitches are part of the run. So it's a forward pass. So, all right, the foul happens here. Where do we enforce this? Hit play again, pointing up the cursor. Hit play, and when the play's over, hit pause. All right. Penalty happens here. Looks like the play's over right about here. I'm just going off references of the pucks. So we already said penalties on the offense. It's a loose ball play, so the spot of enforcement is normally what? The previous spot. But in this case, it's on the offense. So where do they get penalized from? So normally it gets here, but it's going to be back here. So we do 10 yards from that spot. We stiff the offense. So we bring them back 10 yards and replay that down. Go ahead and bring cursor up. Let's see if Mr. Rubin does this correctly. So we've got the spot. He confirms. You can see him he gives a quick, he's like, yep, you got the spot. What he does is stack his flags so he knows they're in the same spot. So he's going to march back 10 yards. He should probably pick his flag up here. Make it quicker. Because you just heard 1 minute left in this quarter of this half. He did a great job by announcing illegal contact on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay the down. That's great enforcement by him. All right, so we talked about clean hands. Here's a play. So we've got a penalty with an interception. Watch it one more time. So the thing about this one is you've got to judge who creates this contact. So we'll watch it one more time, and hopefully I can have you pause it. Bring up the little cursor again. Pause it when they start shoving each other. Right there. He's giving ground, he's gaining ground. They both have their hands out front. You've got to determine who's more culpable here. The cop-out is to go legal contact on the offense, legal contact on the defense. That's the cop-out call. Make sure you figure out who has more, who's guilty more of a penalty. Now, if one shoves and the other comes back and shoves, we got one on each. But they're both together. Figure out who displaces who. So we call penalty on the defense here. They intercept it. They can't keep the ball, correct? Because they didn't have clean hands. Now, if this penalty is on red and purple intercepts in this case, what do you think purple has to do in order to keep the ball? They have to decline all their live ball penalties against the other team. Because if they don't, they're either going to lose possession or they're going to offset. So if they decline that penalty, they intercept it, and then purple then flag guards, you look at purple and say, you want to keep the ball. Don't give them any options, say you want the ball. And they're going to say, absolutely. You go to the other captain and say, we're going to push him back 5 yards after the interception. You didn't give an option, you just told him what you're going to do. He's like, well, we want the ball back. You lost it. We want to accept the contact penalty on them. Then you lose the ball. So you can see how you can get in an argument with them. Be like, you want the ball, you're going to accept the penalty. Don't give him options on certain things. Because you know he wants the ball and you know he wants to push him back. Unless for some reason they don't want to take the yardage, but that's beside the point right now. We talked about this the other day, automatic first downs, there's two of them. Roughing the passer. What constitutes roughing the passer? On who? Against which player on the offense? Anybody who's throwing the ball. So not necessarily the quarterback. You pitch it to a running back and they throw it, that's roughing the passer. So anybody who throws the ball forward legally is a passer in our game. So it can be any contact with the arm, the hand, the ball while it's still in the hand. Like we said, the ball is an extension of the hand. So if they hit the ball while it's right here, or they strip it out and they're trying to throw it, it's roughing the passer. That carries an automatic first down. We tack this on to any yardage gained. So if I throw it to Bruce takes off running, I got my clock cleaned, and he runs for 15 yards, we tack on any yardage that we had, because what we don't want is somebody to get mad. They realize they're gonna catch a touchdown and I mow over the other person and get a free shot at the quarterback. That's what we're trying to prevent. So just remember that. Illegally secured flag belt, basically they tie their flag belt on the defense and you notice it. So if the intercepting team ties their flag belt or the home team ties their flag belt, it's illegal. And it doesn't happen very often. Loss of down, illegal forward pass. And this is a spot foul. Why do we say this is a spot foul?
Because up to that point you didn't do anything wrong.
You haven't done anything wrong. And is it a run play or a pass play? Bruce, I know you know what this one is. Is it a run play or pass play? It's a run play. It's a run play because the pass that's illegal is not a legal forward pass. So for it to be a loose ball, there has to be a legal forward pass. So just remember that. We have that illegal forward pass, it's a spot foul. If I throw an illegal forward pass and the defense intercepts it, I still throw the penalty. Then you go, you want to keep the ball, correct? And they're going to go, absolutely. So you come out there, illegal forward pass, that penalty's declined unless it's fourth down, because if it's fourth down and you lose a down, you turn it over in most cases. So you'd be like, you want to keep the ball? And they're like, yep, we want to keep the ball. Okay, decline that penalty, turnover. Illegal backwards pass, we're not going to cover. Illegally secured flag belt, and illegal mail reception and co-rec. And we'll touch more of those later. Those aren't as important. The 4 W's, I covered this a little bit. What was the foul? Holding, flag guard, illegal snap, whatever it is. That's your what. The who was the foul on? Offense, defense, kickers, receivers. When did the foul occur? Dead ball, simultaneous with the snap, loose ball, run play. So dead ball, remember your fields. Simultaneous with the snap is your mishaps. Loose ball and running play, or any live ball penalties that we may have. And then where's the spot of enforcement? So if I'm working with John and I have a penalty, he's my referee, I'm the line judge, and I have illegal contact. I throw the flag, I go spot it, I give my spot up to the field judge, I jog into John, and I say we have illegal contact on the defense. During the pass, we're going to go 10 yards from the previous spot. Or their option is to decline it and to accept wherever the play ended. And we'll talk more and more about that. But you need to bring all that information. Because if you don't know the penalty enforcement, bring the who, what, and when, and we can piece that together, because then that'll help with where the enforcement spot is. So we already talked about these on night 1, the major clock stoppers versus the minor clock stoppers. If we have a penalty with a play that ends in bounds, so a play that's deflagged, goes to the ground, loses handle of the ball, and it hits the ground in bounds, after we enforce that penalty under 2 minutes, we wind that clock. So we go down, first down, whatever it is, after you announce all your stuff, and then you hit the ready for play and you wind that clock. And the clock rolls from there on. If this happens during any of the plays, you go from the snap. Touchdown, touchback, safety, out of bounds, incomplete pass, whatever it is, we go on the snap. This is a crew thing. Everybody on the crew needs to know what's going to happen here. So if you're the back judge and you called the player down, and your line judge and referee are enforcing a penalty, you're looking at them and you're going like this. It's on the ready. If you're the field judge and it goes out of play, or the back judge, whatever, you're going like this. It's on the snap. This is you communicating with your partners to help them out, because you need to make sure that you have all that information. Danny works Thursday and hopefully some Friday night soon. Whenever his crews work that's what they do.
I work on
Sundays too. All right, so I've enforced the penalties. Now what's the down and distance? So now we're digging a little bit deeper. So for us, to get a first down, you got to go 20 yards or a zone. So you could have first and 1 yard line to gain, or you could have first and 20 to gain, or more than that, depending on how many penalties you have. But we go by zones. We don't bring a chain crew out. We don't do anything like that to make them be like, all right, you got to get 10 yards, and then we go out and measure. No, we don't. There are already lines out on the field. So this is how we do it. So During a live ball, you mark off all penalties. So if this is my line to gain right here, and I get short, but there's a holding on the defense, and we know we're going to go from the end of the run, I march off my 10 yards, I set my pucks, I look up. If that zone line I needed to gain is behind me, it's the next zone line to gain. And we'll show you plays on this. If the offense gets to here legally, then commits flag guarding, gets 5 more yards, and we've got to back them up 10, and it was second down. If I get to here, I'm still looking at my yard line to gain. It's still second down in this yard line to gain. I actually may gain a lot of yardage and still have second down. So if it was second and 18 to go, and I gain 20 yards, and then I flag guard, and we back up, I gain, what is that, 12 yards? We'll show you this. If it was first and 18, I got 20 backed up 10, I netted 12. Something like that. I have to do math. Dead ball fouls. After they're ready for play, you mark it off and then establish. So if I say first down 20 again, I hit my ready for play, and then somebody false starts and it brings them behind the 20 or behind that zone line, it's going to be 2 lines to gain. And I've got many more examples that'll help you. If you have live ball followed by 1 or more dead balls, penalize everything and then use principle of. It's a lot to have. All right, so we're gonna get into a couple of these. Please bear with me. I've got stuff going on here. So real quick, where's my crew 1 from the other night? Anybody in crew 1? Wow, you come here, sit right up here for crew 1. Don't worry, I'll have some friends join you. Who's crew 2 from the other night? Raise your hand high. All right, you're gonna be up here in just a minute. Who's my crew 3? You're gonna be back in this corner. Who's crew 4? All right, you're gonna be back in that corner. Who wasn't here day 1? Come join crew 1 and hang out right there for crew 2. Hang on just a second. Yeah, come right up here. Slide around to the front. Or around to that side if you would. Or hang out right there, doesn't matter.
I'll just go.
Perfect. All right. I'm a walker and talker, so if I run you over, it's my bad. So we're gonna look at these together. You're in crews of almost 4 right now, which is nice. So crew 1, you're gonna be my guinea pigs on how you do this. So if you're going, I really don't get this, please ask questions. Ask a lot of questions tonight. Okay, you have 4th down, 20-yard line to gain from the 40. So I'm on the 40, I've got to get to the 20, and I'll show it to you here in a second. A1 passes the ball to A2 at B's 30-yard line, who flag guards at the 15-yard line and runs for a touchdown. All right. Hang on here. All right, I'm decently good with PowerPoint, so watch this. All right, so we have a snap. Oops. We had a snap. We have a pass. Caught at the 30. Player runs. They flag guard right here. We get it. All right. So what was the penalty? Flag guarding. Who was it on? Where's our spot of enforcement? The flag. Why? It's what? I'm going to stiff the offense right here, right? So how many yards was this one? 10. Why? Because it is. Contact or conduct is going to be 10 yards. Because it is. I like that answer. Contact, conduct, 10 yards. Non-contact, non-conduct, they're going to be 5. So we're going to go 10 yards from right here. From the 15, right? Which puts us back to what? 25? All right. What's my down and distance? It was 4th down and 20 to gain. So I go, come on, back here. All right, so I march off my 10.
That's 4th down 5.
Why? I'm going to keep asking why. So I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just going to keep asking you why, because I want you to think and I want everybody else in the room to think. I'd rather you screwed up 15 times tonight and get it right next week than to screw it up once tonight and get it wrong 15 times next week.
I was about to say they didn't get the first down legally, but they kind of did. But they didn't keep it.
We legally got here, right? But we had to march them back. So we have to penalize them before we set the down and distance. And during a live ball, we mark off all penalties, and then we look up. So if this is me, I'm going to go to the 15. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to march off my 10. I'm going to set the puck. If I'm still looking at the 20, I still got the 20-yard line to gain. So it was 4th down, so what down does it remain? 4th. So I look and I'm still at the 20. They gained 15 yards, right? The defense is probably mad going, hey, don't they go from back here? No, they go from here. Well, we want them to go from back there. Well, if you decline the penalty, they get a touchdown. So you get 2 options. Decline the penalty, they score, they keep the ball. Accept the penalty, they get 15 yards, and you still have an opportunity to stop them. So that's why giving the captain the choice is usually you don't want them to score. Correct. All right. You just now stay out of my way. Let me go and force this penalty. So 4th down, 20 gain from B, 25. All right, crew 2. It is 4th down and 40 to gain from the 20. So I'm at my 20, going to the 40. During the run, A1 pitches the ball forward at B36 to A2, who catches the ball at the 20-yard line and then runs for a touchdown. You hate words, so do I. All right, so I'm at the 20. I snap the ball, I run, I pitch it forward at the 36. Partner catches it, runs it for a touchdown. What was it? 4th down. All right, so what was the penalty? Illegal forward pass. We got that one. Pretty easy. If it's an illegal forward pass, who do you think it's on? The offense. Where's our spot of enforcement on this play? This crew right here. Did everybody else keep quiet?
Yeah.
Why?
It hurts the worst.
It hurts the worst, but it's also a run play. So that's where we're going to enforce it from. How many yards is it? 5 yards. So if we back them up 5 yards, where does that put them? 39, right? Because you got to remember this is midfield, so you had to do some math. 36, go to the 39. So I march it off, I look up, I'm still looking at the 40, right? But what happens with this kind of penalty?
You lose it down.
You lose it down. So if I'm on 4th down and I lose one, can I play 5 downs? You turn around and you give it to the other team. This is why knowing where penalties happens is important. So I run up, I march off 5 yards, I realize, hey, we're still looking at the 40. We're turning that one over. 36 to 40 is 4 plus 1, well minus 1 because you're at 39, you're at 40, so you go down 1, it's 39. I seen the addition in the head. Don't worry, it confuses me too. That's why I have to have the picture. So
Did they not get the first down because they didn't get enough yards?
they didn't get enough yards.
Okay.
So if you're marching this off, now when we go out and we look at trying to do penalties, a yard is about that. If you're short like me, you've got to stretch it a little bit. I played a lot of golf in high school, so I know what a yard feels like when I take a step. This is about 2.5 feet, so you got to stride it out a little bit. The other thing you can use are your marks on the field. You know, from here to here is 3 yards. Here to here is 7 because that's a 10-yard line. Here to here is 4 more. Here to here is 6. Use those. Use those to your advantage. So whenever I'm marking off penalties, I kind of look at that. All right, crew 3. Maybe if I can work this right. Oh, here's what you'll see one of them. Every once in a while I throw in a good video. So we had illegal contact. This goes back to play 1. Or, I'm sorry, flag guarding. This goes back to play 1. Tell me when I get to 7:30. I should probably see it down here. So he's given the spot. He threw his flag a little too far, which is fine. So Mr. Rubin marches it off. See, we're replaying 2nd down. So that's how you need to do it. Questions on that? Ask now.
The only 2 loss of down penalties are illegal forward pass and what was the other one?
Illegally secured flag belt, but you shouldn't really see that one. Half the distance penalty. No penalty can take the team more than half the distance to a goal line. So if I'm inside the 20 and I have a 10-yard penalty, I have to count half the distance. If I have a 5-yard penalty, what yard line do I have to be inside? If I have a 5-yard penalty, what yard line do I have to be inside to be half the distance? The 10, right? So if I have a 10-yard penalty inside the 20, you have to count all the way to the goal line and come all the way back. And the reason we do that is because your steps aren't perfect. You can't be like, I'm like this 17 and a half. I'm just going to go ahead and guess. No, we don't do that. You walk it all the way to the goal line. What you're going to get the first couple times you do this, the player's going to be like, whoa, 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 we can't give them that much, or they're taking too much from us. Hang on a second, I'm going to count all the way back. Inevitably, somebody's going to count 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh shit, I counted 22 steps. You know what you do? You just count 11 back, keep the same stride. Because what you don't want to do is be like, I can't be at the 11, I'm going to be short of the 10 somewhere. Exactly, you should be short of the 10. If you're at the 14, you should be somewhere around the 7. If you're inside the 10 and you got a 5-yard penalty, basically what these are going to be are your Fields penalties. So if they're inside their 10 going away, and you back them up 5 yards, count to the goal line and bring them back. If they're on the 2-yard line or the half-yard line, basically you just go like this, take the puck and split the difference. Go like this, take the puck and split the difference. You may be like, that's really going to be hard. You're like, yeah, you're going to be that close, you're going to have half the distance. So there you go. Disqualifying players, they have to be removed. So they can decline any penalty they want except a disqualification of a player. So you eject a player for MFing somebody, like, no, they're cool, they can stay. Or they tie their flag belt. We may let them stay in the complex, but they cannot play. So if we eject them, they're not allowed to play again. All right. So here's half the distance. I think this is illegal contact. Yeah, this is illegal contact on the offense. So watch Miss Shively here. She's one of our former graduate assistants. She will march it off as well. So they pick up the pucks. They march it off separately, which is what we want you to do. What? They should end up relatively close. So you can see, she marched back to here. Dylan looked up and said, yep, close enough, here we go. It's not going to be an exact science. So just remember that. They marched it off half the distance. This is also stiff the offense one right here. Illegal contact in the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, moving back. All right, safety in a goal line. If the offense commits a foul in their end zone, so if the goal line's right here, I take a snap, I flag guard in the end zone, and then I throw a completed pass. What happens to this penalty right here? Results in a safety. Why? Because it's in the end zone. Any foul by the offense inside their end zone results in the safety. Now, if they throw an interception and the other team goes, hey, we want to decline it because we want to try to score quickly, by all means, they can decline it. They just don't get the points. It happens. If the defensive foul occurs with the end of the run enforcement and the run ends in the end zone, the goal line shall be the line to use to measure out. So, if I'm running, or if I take the snap, and my blocker's 2 yards deep and gets run over in the end zone, and I scramble, and I get deflagged in the end zone, it results in the initial play results in a safety, but we have to enforce a penalty, right? So if we have an end of the run enforcement, which this is because I never passed the ball, we can't enforce it from 4, 5, or 6 yards deep. We have to go to the edge of the goal line and march out. So just like one of the previous plays where they march out from the end of the run where Sean was in it and the quarterback didn't throw the ball because he didn't know what he was doing, this is the same thing. You go from the goal line and march out. So we can't enforce a defensive penalty from in the end zone. Questions on that one? Confusion? Please ask them now. Any question is not a stupid question because I didn't understand it at first and I really don't when I write them. So, forfeit of the game, you have no bearing on this. When marking off penalties, here's how you should do it. And I don't know if Danny covered this, so if he did, you're getting it twice. So if I throw a penalty, or my partner throws a penalty, what's your name? Evan. Evan throws a penalty. He comes up to me. What are the 4 things you're going to tell me?
What foul?
What was the foul?
Who did it?
Who did it? Who, what? Where and when, right? All right, what are where and whens?
Where the foul occurred.
Where the foul occurred.
And when.
When is what kind of loose ball pass play, or loose ball run play, blah, blah, blah. So if he comes up to me and he goes, I got holding on the defense during the run. What I'm going to come out to do, if I'm the referee, I'm going to come out, I'm going to signal before I do anything. I can do this anywhere on the field. I come out, give a silent signal. I go to the team captain. You want to tack this on the end of the run? What are my other options? You want to tack this onto the end of the run. Because you decline it, you get it where it is. If you accept it, you get 10 more yards. Some people may decline that. It has happened because they want short distances. Because if they have 1st and 1 or 2nd and 1 versus 1st and 11, they may do it that way. Usually just say you want to tack it on. So I ask the captain what he or she wants. So then I go pick up my pucks. I get to where the end of the run is, check it in, I count my 10, set the pucks, and when I do it, holding, defense, 10 yards from the end of the run, play results in a 1st down, replay 2nd down, or whatever it is. That's how I want you to do it. I want you to keep them high. You need to be loud. You're always facing the line judge's side. I hope they covered that yesterday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Always face the line judge's side when you do penalty enforcements. Holding, flag guard, legal contact, whatever it is, defense, offense, and the spot of foul. So that's how you do it. My old colleague came up with the thing called SAGA, signal, ask, go, announce. Signal it silently. Don't ever come out here, contact, defense. Yeah, what do you want to do? You don't ever see him on Saturdays and Sundays. Boom, legal contact on the defense. Coach? Okay, you want to accept? Okay. No, they don't do that. What? You see some, Ron Cherry's officiating, you see some wild stuff. Or you got the guy that's looking this way and the camera's behind him and he's announcing this way and he gets mad. Yeah, we pull up some of those videos. So you just give the signal quietly. Ask the captain or the most reasonable player. You want to add that? Yep. Give them their options. If there's a play where they're going to be like, it's going to be 2nd down and short, especially on the defense, or 3rd down and long, or 2nd down and short, or 1st down and long, they're going to have their options. So if you back the offensive up, you go to the defensive captain. You're going to have 10 yards back from that spot, or you're going to have this spot and this down. So back them up 10, replay the down, or next down right here. He or she's going to think about it and be like, I try to get them into their best option. You want to push them back, right? Absolutely. You want to decline the penalty because now it's 4th down and 15 versus 3rd down and 25, which is a lot easier to pick up than 4th down and 15. So always ask that. So listen to, I think this is Mr. Jackson. He'll announce it.
It was really flag when you just have to shove it or you extend it a little bit. Yeah. You guys want to accept it, right? Okay.
Didn't even give an option. You want to accept it? All right. If not, they would have been close to the goal line. He marches it off. He does his announcement a little bit further back, which I wish he'd do this at the pucks.
1st down. Repeat the down. Illegal contact, offense, 10 yards, repeat 1st down. Plays closed, goal line to game.
That's what you should do. Questions on that? We'll actually practice that outside. Fouls during a touchdown. So if there's a foul by the scoring team other than unsportsmanlike conduct during the down which results in a touchdown, the acceptance of the penalty nullifies the touchdown. So if there's a penalty on the offense, we got to screw the offense. So we bring it back out. If I score a touchdown and then I spike the ball, that's a whole different ball game because the play has ended and then I did something stupid. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. If the opponent of the scoring team commits a foul and there's a score, now you got a couple different options. So if somebody holds me, I break free, I score a touchdown. The touchdown stands. We want to give them that. Now, unlike the other Saturday, Sunday, Friday night football, the offense has an option. They can take that penalty on the try, so the 1, 2, or 3 point try, or they can take it when the other team gets the ball from the kickoff. So, if they take the point on the try, they go half the distance from the 3, the 10, or the 20. So if they take half the distance on the 20, just put it on the 10. If it's from the other two, just count out 5 or count out 1.5 yards. If they back them up, they go to the 7-yard line instead of the 14. Questions on that?
Is it always out?
Yeah, because most any live ball penalty is going to be contact for the defense. Because if you have, the only thing would be an illegal substitution penalty. Would be the only thing, and that would be not half the distance, but we would kill that anyway. So, but that's a good question. If either team commits an unsportsmanlike conduct or a non-player foul, so the personal foul, during a score, the opponent may accept the result of the play, and then the result of the play is accepted, and then choose to have the foul enforced on the try or the succeeding spot. So, where this comes into play, I score a touchdown, I spike the ball. You throw the unsportsmanlike because you're all good officials, so you call it on them. So, we had a score, we had an unsportsmanlike. The first thing you do is you go up to the scoring team captain, you're going to go for 1, 2, or 3. What do you think his response will be knowing that there's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty? 1. He's going to ask, where are they going to put the penalty, right? Because he's like, well, if I'm going to go for 3, I'm going to be backed up to the 30 because it's a 10-yard penalty. He'd be like, I'll ask them after you make your decision. I need it now. 1, 2, or 3. Most of the time it's going to be 1. But if they go for 2 or 3, and he'd be like, you go to the other captain, they have chosen to go for 3. Do you want to back them up 10 yards on the try, or do you want to take 10 yards when you get the ball coming out? More than likely, you can be like, back him up to the 30 for this try. He can do that. So what you want to do is you have the option here, I need to know the point value. And then I need to know this. If there's an unsportsmanlike or player conduct foul or a personal foul on the defense after the score, you look at it and be like, all right, you've got to try for 1, 2, or 3. Where do you want this? Where do you want that penalty assessed? Because now they can be like, hey, we want to take a 3-point try from the 10. He's got those options because he is the one that scored and he was offended. The other team has no options. So you ask the offensive team that. I know we're throwing a lot of stuff at you. Try to hang with it and try to ask questions as we go. If we have a foul prior to the try, for the try, either team commits any foul, which is basically it's like a scoring play. If I commit a foul on the try and I'm the offense and I am successful in the try, they're basically going to push us back and we're going to replay the try. If I'm not successful, they're going to decline the penalty. And the same thing is true for any unsportsmanlike or personal fouls. Yeah, we talked about that. All right, so here we go. Somebody's excited that they scored. We check the flags here, which is important. You always check the flags, because if they tie them, they're ejected. So the problem here is we go back. I believe this is on the offense. I think it's on the offense. Oh, maybe it's on the defense. All right, so we have contact on the defense. He's asking right now, you've scored a touchdown. You want to go 1, 2, or 3, and you also get half the distance. Or you can push them back. So as Jonathan goes over their options, it takes a little bit to know this. Sometimes the captain isn't the most reasonable person on the field or even knows the game of football. So that's why you try to get in consensus. So see, he gives the try them out. All right, double fouls. If both teams commit live ball fouls and there's no change of possession, you commit a foul and you commit a foul and I get 10 yards. What do you think we do? Offset, replay the down. So it doesn't matter what happens. You commit a penalty, we offset them. College celebrations. NFL celebrations are not allowed. But that's good. That's actually a really good question because they'll go in, they'll spike the ball, they'll do a lot of different stupid stuff. Penalize them for it. They go high five each other, jump in each other's arms, no big deal. But they do anything with the ball and use the ball as a prop or use anything else as a prop, that's non-sportsmanlike conduct. All right, if there's a change of possession and the team in